should we start with the golden parachutes?
Yes, the email.
Yeah.
This is DOGE entering the chat. Like, this is DOGE has turned. I don't know if it's a fully powered battle station quite yet, but it's definitely powering up.
Yeah, I think we're not far away from a million voices crying out and then suddenly being silenced.
It's kind of one of those things because this is straight out of the Twitter playbook from Elon Musk.
It starts the same way. In fact, do we have the fork in the road tweet? Okay, so let me show you the fork in the road is an art piece that Elon Musk, I guess, financed in the. It looks like it's in the middle of nowhere. It looks like a giant road and a giant fork sticking out of it. Okay,
I had no idea this part of it.
This is real.
I know the phrase. He put a fork in a road.
He had a road built where it Y's off, and there's a gigantic fork sitting in the middle of it. So this is a thing with him.
Kind of a fork in the fork.
Right.
Because the road forks by itself when it turns into the Y. Correct. But it's a fork in the fork.
Yes, thank you. So
you don't have to bleep that stations, just so you know. It feels close to it, but you don't have to.
Yeah, you use the F word a lot there.
I
did. So when he went to Twitter, he put a fork in the road memo out that said, hey, you might want to get out now because it's going to be a different place here. So I'm giving you opportunity to bail right now. Just let me know. And he said at the very beginning, it's a fork in the road. They've just issued a memo that is almost exactly like it, except it's got a bunch of subsections, 1C, B, and,
a little more legalistic.
A little more legalistic. Yeah. But Trump is offering people the money to not be hit with a giant fork.
Yeah, it's sort of two approaches. One is anybody who wants to leave right now will pay you to September. So we'll give you
that's very generous.
A nice 8-9 month ramp here to get a new gig. If you don't want to work here, please go. And of course, this combines with a hiring freeze, right? So the idea is, I don't know, 5, 10, 25% of people accept this deal, and you shrink the government employment, and then you don't rehire those people. This is a way you cut. This is the way he did it at Twitter. And then secondarily, it's sort of carrot and stick approach. The carrot is, hey, we'll pay you to September for no work. It's great for you. And then the stick is, by the way, if you stick around, we'll probably fire you anyway. That's kind of what the tone of it is.
It is.
Like, look, I'm sorry. If you stick around, we're really going to be cutting, so it might be you.
This is what it actually says. During the first week of his administration, President Trump issued a number of directives concerning the federal workforce. Among those directives, the president required that employees return to in-person work. Do you know what that number is? How many federal employees actually show up for work since the beginning of COVID-19?
I don't know the number. What is it?
Take a guess.
We're now many, many years past COVID-19, Glenn.
What is the number of federal workers that are actually showing up for work?
I have to guess it's very low, but if I were just to guess without any pre-knowledge, I would have to say it was like 60. Right? I don't know. 40% of people not showing up seems significant.
The number of people not showing up to work is 94%. Only 6% of federal workers are showing up.
Even with the knowledge that it was going to be a low number, I'm shocked by that. 6%?
6.
No way.
It is 6%. Didn't you?
In certain categories? You go to the Pentagon right now, it's 94% empty? That can't be true.
I don't know about the Pentagon. Okay.
So it might be certain areas of the government.
Well, I do know this also, that the mayor of Washington, D.C. said all of our businesses are dying.
Yeah.
And said this to Biden. You have got to get people to go back into those buildings or let those buildings loose and let's bring other businesses into Washington, D.C.
Because we're holding them empty, essentially.
We're holding them empty so there's no business on the street because nobody's coming in. So restaurants are going out, shops just that aren't, for tourists are all going out.
Now, if complete economic destruction happened to Washington, D.C., would you be able to tell the difference? Is, I guess, the question. We were just there. And
I think if there was a raging wildfire, I'm not sure I could tell the difference. Among those directives, the president required employees to return to work in person, restored accountability for employees who have policy-making authority. Let me hang on. I think I hear the knives sharpening here. Restored accountability for senior career executives, and reform the federal hiring process to focus on merit. As a result of the above orders, the reform of the federal workforce will be significant. Want out?
Yeah. Take your out now. And like, it does a couple of things.
I would.
It's interesting because, he sent it to everyone. Basically said, none of you are essential. Any one of you can be replaced. Which is a message you send, an important message. You're not too important, essentially. I know you've worked here for 3 decades and you're a career employee and all that. That doesn't mean anything anymore, okay? That's one message it sends. It also sends a message, I think, too. Like if you put yourself in a position of, you're someone on the left who got into government because you have left-leaning ideas. You want to make sure
get into government.
It's true. This is one of our problems.
I can't think of a reason on the right why to get into government except to stop the people on the left.
And that is a real problem.
Yeah,
we
it
have,
is.
Because it's the same thing with universities. Like
Yes.
we don't go in there and we don't mix it up in those areas, and then they take them over.
Yes.
But let's say you're just someone who leans left. You get in there because you want to you think you support all these big taxes and big government programs, and you're working on administrating them. And now you realize, okay, Trump's coming in. He's going to try to cut this anyway. Do I really want to be here cutting people and not distributing this money I think is so important? Maybe I do just take it, right? Like, just because I'm opposed and I don't want to go through this agenda, I don't want to be responsible for these evil cuts. So
I think
maybe I just take the money and leave.
I think if you're a career politician or a career, government worker, if you've put in your time and they're going to give you, really good exit package, I don't know if you've been there for 25 years. Do I get my pension?
You probably do.
Yeah. So, I would definitely look at it. If I had been there for a long time, I'd be like, I think I'm getting out now, because you just don't know.
Yeah.
Vivek Ramaswamy said we should just say everybody with an odd social security number and ends in an odd number, you're fired.
What helps him here, because there are dumb protections built into some of these places for civil service types that it makes it sometimes difficult to fire them. And this is sort of like the self-deportation option when it comes to the border, right? You go. Just you take it. It's optional for you. And if they do that, you not only will likely get rid of more people that are trying to thwart your efforts, because they're typically going to be more likely to take that deal, but you also get a good portion of your cuts done without having to make the cuts.
Correct.
There are some legal questions to this, and of course it's going to get challenged. There is a clause, I think it's in the Homeland Security Act, that allows the government to offer employees $25,000 to resign, essentially, if they want to make cuts. So that much of it is pretty much straightforward protected. When you say all the way to September, some of those numbers will go above $25,000, and there they might get legal challenges.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
The people would challenge it. They're giving us more than 20.
You're giving me too much
money. That'll never happen.
But in reality, what it is, of course, is the left doesn't want these employees to go away. They don't want the size of government to shrink, so they'll find any legal loophole they can to challenge what he's doing.
Wouldn't it be fascinating to see the conversations of people right now in Washington, D.C. that are those diehards? I mean, because he's doing exactly what he's doing on the border to the government. He is. We're coming for the bad guys, and we're going to cut. There's no more fooling around. There's a new sheriff in town, and he hopes, just like on the border, he's going to get the bad guys. But a lot of people, as you just said, will self-deport. I don't want any part of it.
Yeah, I don't want any part of it. Not to mention 9 months of pay, right? Combine that, if you happen to be an entrepreneurial type, of leaving a job, getting paid for 9 months, and then getting another job.
Oh, if you could get...
I mean, it could be great for your finances.
If you had another job, if you knew you could get another job, you'd be stupid not to take it.
To get paid for 9 months for doing nothing. Now, of course, it's taking it out of our pockets, which I'm not exactly thrilled about. But
if he gets
long term, it's great.
Yeah, if he gets enough people, it's like $100 or $150 million a year is what they're expecting to get out of this. That's a lot of savings.
I mean, it's a drop in the bucket, unfortunately.
No, I know it is. I know it is.
So $150 million a year is a pretty small
was it a
rate
million
of acceptance.
or billion? I have to look that up.
Yeah.
Because as I said that, I'm like, you don't pay attention. Million, billion,
trillion,
just
whatever.
doesn't matter anymore.
Just wait till the quadrillions hit. Then you'll know.
Oh.
Then you'll know.
And million will seem like, it's like it used to be like, they're a millionaire. And then it became, they're worth like $100 million. And then it became, they're a billionaire.
Yeah.
It's going to be soon, they're a trillionaire.
You knew we crossed that line when Bernie Sanders needed to take millionaires out of his speeches. Because he used to say millionaires and billionaires. And now he just says billionaires because he's a millionaire.
Yeah.
And it's like hilarious that Mr. Socialist with his multiple houses can't even criticize millionaires anymore.
Because he's most likely a millionaire.
He is. 100%.
I mean, how does a socialist get that?
I mean, he's making a decent six-figure salary and has been forever. He's got multiple houses. Just the equity in those homes, I'm sure, makes him a millionaire. I mean, he's pretty... he wants to spend everyone else's money. If he spends like that, I guess, in his own life. He doesn't seem to be all that... he doesn't seem to take advantage with like fancy cars or anything like that we know of. But he's got a couple of nice houses.
Or hair
He doesn't need
products.
those. He saves on hair products. That's for sure.